Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Stogie Review Short Ashes. I am Walt and I am here for just a brief, really quick cigar review, which is a little bit different from the norm. Generally, my cigar reviews run between like 26 and 30 minutes. This one should run between 12 and 16, and the idea is, if you're not familiar with these short ashes, is to take a cigar that's been reviewed before and just revisit it. See if it tastes the same as it did however long ago it's been, or if it's changed, if I like it anymore, if I don't, you know, whatever the case may be. And this particular cigar is the CAO Italia, and it's been quite a while since I last had one. As a matter of fact, I remember the last time I had one. I don't remember the date, but I lit one up before I went to a Reading Royals game, which is a minor league hockey club in the area, and it was a much smaller size. I lit it up before we left, went to the game, enjoyed it, smoked it on the way, finished it up before I got to the game, and I just remember it being an overall good cigar. Now, I reviewed this way back in 2006 on Stogie Review, and Brian reviewed it as well later on. Now, this particular cigar was a gift to me. I don't remember who sent it to me, and I know it's been quite a while. I know it's at the very least a year old. I'm sure it's more than that. And so we're going to see how it goes. It's got a very mild aroma to it. A small defect in the wrapper, a little chip in the wrapper leaf. It's got a nice oily appearance to it. Small veins. There's a little variation in color. A couple of light spots, a couple of dark spots. Nothing too bad. Kind of handling it, doesn't feel lumpy or rough. Feels pretty good. Cigar feels nice and firm. Nice, evenly packed with tobacco. I'm not getting any soft spots throughout. You know, it doesn't feel like person in charge of filling the cigars missed a spot or underfilled a small section. It feels good and consistent. Pre-light draw's got a little bit of resistance to it. It's kind of sweet, which is nice. And well, we're gonna see how it goes. Now, I decided to grab myself a glass of Maker's Mark to go with the cigar, just so I could smoke the cigar, have a little bit of bourbon, and do a little bit of writing for Stogie Review. So I'm gonna try to tie it all together and just enjoy the start of the evening. Now, this is I think it's a Novella size. I've never had this size before. I've always smoked the smaller ones, the Coronas, and I don't remember what those are. At least I think this is a Novella size. Alright, cigar's lit. I'm getting some smoke out of it. So sit tight. I'll be right back and jump into the first third and see how the CAO Italia goes. Well, welcome back. I'm plugging along on my CAO Italia. This actually isn't the Novella size. I looked real quick. That is the Corona size that I've had in the past. This is the CAO, I believe, which is 4.5. Wrong one again. Which is a 56 by 5, although this doesn't feel like no 56, so I should probably do a little research and find out exactly what this cigar is. But it is definitely not the Novella size. You know, my first impressions of this cigar are a little bit disappointing. Now, I don't know whether it's just the fact that this cigar's been sitting for over a year and it's had a big opportunity to mellow out, or what the deal is, but it seems very mellow. I remember these cigars being much more robust and flavorful, and this one just really isn't jumping out at me. And I think it may be a result of the fact that the cigar has sat so long. And you know, that's one of the things about aging that you know, I always say there's a downside to aging. You know, there's a lot of people that say that every cigar should be aged. They only get better with age. But you know, I really think that some cigars don't get better with age. If this is how the CAO Italias go with age, I absolutely think they're better when they're younger. And same goes for this other box of cigars. The first box of cigars I ever bought was a box of Sancho Panza Extra Fuertes. I remember them being very rich and flavorful, kind of bold, upfront. You know, just a nice, spicy, upfront cigar. And you know, that's why I bought them. I enjoyed them. I bought singles when I was at the local cigar shop. I bought this box of cigars, and they were enjoyable. They got tucked in the bottom of the cooler, and they've been there for a couple of years. I had one a couple of months ago, and it was very disappointing that that robust, bold flavor that I was looking for in the cigar just wasn't there. The cigar just sort of fell flat on its face, and I'm afraid that's kind of what's going on with this cigar. It's lacking in everything that I remembered it being, and it's kind of disappointing. It's very smooth. There's no harshness. There's no bite. It's got a very rich, deep tobacco flavor, a little bit of spiciness to it, but really that's about it. It seems like it's mellowed out too much. It just doesn't have those bright, rich flavors that I remembered from before, where they really stood out. Here it's just very subdued. The burning characteristics of the cigar are going very well. It stays lit. I'm not having any trouble keeping it burning properly. Burn line's fairly thin. It's even for the most part. The ash is a little flaky, but you know, nothing that I'm overly concerned about. Ash color is sort of middle of the road, medium gray, and a volume of smoke is good. I'm getting a nice mouthful of smoke with each and every puff. It doesn't take too much effort to get that mouthful of smoke, so that the draw is good. Finish is smooth. It's mildly creamy. Body is medium at best. It's just very subdued. So far the cigar is burning well. It's smoking well, but the flavors are just very mellow. I'm kind of surprised by that. So sit tight. I'll be back. We'll jump into the second, third, and see if the CAO Italia sort of springs to life and becomes what I remembered it being. Well, welcome back. I'm still plugging along on my CAO Italia, and I haven't had a minute to check on what the size actually was. I got wrapped up in writing tomorrow's article for Stogie Review. But at any point, or at any rate, burn line's getting a little finicky. You can see it's a little wavy. It's still thin. Ash is still a little crumbly. The rate of smoke is thinning out just a little bit. The draw is the same. It's still fairly easy to get that mouthful of smoke. Finish is smooth. Body is medium at best. And the flavors are still kind of lackluster. I've got to say, I'm really disappointed in how this cigar is smoking. I remember it being so much more flavorful and more enjoyable. It just seems bland. You know, I'm getting a nice earthy tobacco flavor, a little bit of spiciness out of it, a little bit of pepper, and not much else. I'm really struggling to pick up some of the other flavors. Just they seem to have mellowed so much, and it's just a little disappointing. I was hoping for something a lot more vibrant and something that was just going to stand out and I don't know, make a great start for the evening. But so far, it's just been a lot of mellow smoke. So now that I don't have much to tell you, just sit back. I'll be right back. We'll touch base on the final third, see if the cigar comes around finally, and then I'll let you be on your way. So sit tight. Well, welcome back, and as you can see, it's about time to wrap up the CAO Italia, and unfortunately, I really don't have a whole lot to say. It's been a whole lot of the same. Flavor is just very mellow, It's smooth. There's a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of pepper. There's a nice earthy flavor, but they all seem very subdued. Like they're just not vibrant enough to really grab my attention. It's just sort of I don't know, just lackluster. There's just not enough coming through to really grab my attention. The finish is very smooth. The smoke overall is enjoyable. It's just very mellow, and that's the only thing I don't like about it. I really remember the cigar being much more flavorful than it is. The ash is a little flaky still. Medium gray color. Burn line has straightened out quite a bit from what it was. It's still thin. Resting smoke is about average. Smoke time is about average. Volume of smoke is good. The resistance on the draw is good. It doesn't take much effort to get a nice mouthful of smoke. It has a nice sort of dense feeling to it. You know, there is a little bit of body. It doesn't feel airy and light. It's nice, and it leaves a nice coating, which is nice. It's medium bodied, and you know, I just keep harping on it, but you know, I'm just really disappointed by the flavors. I was really expecting much more. You know, I really need to make an effort to get out to my local shop and see if they have a box of CAO Italias. I'm pretty sure they do. I know they carry the Brazilias, the MX2s. I think he even has a box of CX2s, and I think he might have a box of Sopranos. So, you know, with all those CAO line available, I'm sure he should have the Italia. So I'll have to try one of the newer ones that don't have so much age on it. Not like a year and a half is a whole lot of age, but I'm curious as to if the cigar just seems very mellow because of the year and a half that it's been sitting in my cooler, or if the cigar just I just got a dud. It's just sort of flavorless, or very mellow, I should say. It's not flavorless. But all in all, it's not a bad cigar. I just wish there was more flavor. I wish it was more upfront and more vibrant. I think the price on these is around $5 a piece. It doesn't seem out of line if the cigar was what I remembered it being. I don't know that I'd necessarily run out and pay $5 for a cigar that was just like this. It's just too mellow for my tastes. So that about does it for the CAO Italia, which I still didn't check the size on, but it felt as though it was about a Robusto size, but it wasn't the 56 that Brian Hewitt mentioned a while back, so this must be a different Vitola. So anyway, that about does it for the CAO Italia, so until next time, happy smoking.